There's so much that we don't know, therefore I have to believe in you fill in the blank. I've heard this argument so many times ad nauseum I want to yell. My girlfriend's uncle used this claim about ghosts. Apparently, a group of Christians found my channel recently and they used the same claims with God, saying science can't explain everything. This argument from ignorance at one point in my life sounded so deep, but if you actually know enough about science, you realize why it makes you just sound like an ignoramus if you use it. True reality is so much that we as humans do not know. What is dark matter? What causes gravity? We understand how magnets work, but not why. We don't know how to treat a myriad of diseases. We only have a fraction of the species on the planet categorized and discovered. We don't know many of the lost ancient languages, or many things about the ancient daily lives. However, what people fail to realize is that there is really so much that we as a collective humanity do know. Take ghosts, for example. We know that the brain rewrites memories every time they're accessed, and your memory is unreliable, especially late at night when most ghost sightings occur. We know that people are very open to suggestion, especially if other people have told you that there were ghosts in the area. If you believe that a house is haunted, any noise will cause enough reaccessing of the memory that it can cause you to be certain you saw something supernatural because your memories wouldn't lie. We know that brain damage can completely alter your personality, your memory, your values, and perspectives, meaning that a change in your biology can alter the very definition of essence, a soul, or spirit. If that personality is all hardwired in matter, the chances of anything living beyond and haunting the earth are very low. We know that all cultures experience near-death experiences, and we understand how oxygen deprivation affects the brain, including the probability of spiraling tunnel vision, causing the light at the end of the tunnel effect. Using fMRI and sensory deprivation, suggestion, and other illusionist tricks, we can easily recreate the feelings of spirituality and the sensing of a presence, and we can see exactly where in the brain these feelings and sensations arise. We have ghost hunters like Ben Radford, who after careful investigation have ended up finding the source of ghosts is always in the human brain, and their wish to see the supernatural by studying history or simple design flaws in housing structures. The problem is that people don't want science to tell us what we don't know. They want to remain ignorant of that because learning about reality is complex and scary. What they want is for science to confirm what they already think or believe, and when it doesn't, there's always a backlash. This is why we don't have cable channels dedicated to all branches of science. Can you imagine flipping on the zoology channel, then the nanotechnology, the anthropology channel, then moving on to the genetics channel? The physics channel, the computer science channel, the physiology channel, and philosophy channel. Scientists and people of learning would be all rock stars in our society. People would aspire to be like them. The channel would bring in more for their research instead of making them rich. Talk about real reality TV. Instead, we're relegated to a handful of one field-specific channels, history and zoology. History, of course, being the Hitler and Alien Conspiracy channel, and Discovery being the cute zoology and mechanical things blowing up, which is always better than nothing. If not for PBS and National Geographic and a few other minor ones, there would be nothing of scientific value here in the US. Most other channels instead give people science-y feelings to help reinforce what people already believe, like getting people with high-tech equipment to run around an old house like morons and freak out. Especially since we know all the flaws that occur in the equipment. You guys actually trust a video camera or any electronic device to collect data 100% when basic computers plague you with glitches every day? But because of confirmation bias, we assume that what we see is exactly what we want to see. We know that basic interference in sound recording can sound just like human speech really quietly. This may sound extremely improbable, unless you take into account the fact that sound recorders are engineered to record in the frequency band for human voice. The fact that we know about biases and how our brains work, and we can correct for them, is just amazing. The ability to know thyself is getting closer and closer as we progress further into the future. It's both ego-building and very humbling at the same time. The problem is that most people don't know what science does know. There are so many complex new findings every year that we almost need a 24-hour science news channel with real scientists, not journalists, just to keep people up to date on what science is doing and why it's doing it. My girlfriend Archyfantasies is currently passing a petition around on her channel denouncing an artifact hunter show on Spike TV. Prior to meeting her and learning about her field of research, I knew very little about the field and what was involved. To be honest, I probably would have been one of the millions who would have just enjoyed watching them tear up historical sites because I didn't know the first thing about soil types, stratigraphy, floodplains, and context. It's not my field of expertise. If an expert doesn't do the digging, all the valuable information about the artifact will be lost, and you'll just have an artifact that you may or may not have much knowledge about. I've worked with a girl who was actually irritated by the fact that scientists had discovered new dwarf planets and extrasolar planets and new periodic elements, because now the knowledge she had worked so hard to learn in school was now wrong. And the facts she had learned before didn't make her knowledge wrong at all, just incomplete. But how dare scientists learn more and change reality and truth on her? As if scientists had the magical ability to change reality. And she's getting her master's in forensics. I was just floored. I'm pretty sure the job she has will keep changing. It's as if some people anthropomorphize facts, and when these factoids turn out to be wrong, it's like the death of a friend. If scientists anthropomorphize anything, it's the field, and they love watching their friends grow and mature with time, and learning all they can about them and their new steps into maturity. People don't know what they don't know, to the point that they assume science hasn't ever tackled some questions. Ghosts have actually been dismissed by scientists because they've done the research on it and found the evidence completely lacking, beyond being in people's heads. Intercessory prayer has even been studied, and a new study is done every few years to increase the data set, and no significant effect has been shown to be caused by intercessory prayer. We have a theist who shows up to CFI and repeats over and over that he wishes scientists were open to studying prayer. He has one study he clings to as proving that prayer for others works, which our statistics expert showed was full of holes, not significant, and badly designed. When we do show him the data, he rebuts with one study he claims didn't use the right God, even though I know for a fact that a member of the center handed him a folder full of research he had done on the topic and never heard back from him. There is so much we don't know, yes, but there is so much we do know. Most people are completely unaware of what science doesn't understand. They also don't understand what science doesn't touch, like belief in a deity, because faith requires belief without evidence, and if you can't prove or disprove something, then it's not science. They are still tackling the issue science closed years ago. Saying there is so much we don't know, therefore blank, translate to, I don't know, and I don't want to know, and I don't want to do the research on it, or find someone who does. Instead, how about we focus on what we can and do know, and cheer on and support those who are discovering new things every day. If I mentioned something you didn't know today, please look into it and research it. Thank you.